Raheem Morris, the Falcons head coach, made the decision, speaking of rookie quarterbacks, to not play Michael Penix Jr. this past weekend.
I can't wait to hear y'all's opinion on this.
So here was him explaining why that was the decision. This was the Falcons coach.
Last week, we wanted to get him out there and get a feel for what he was in live game, which we kind of already knew. Wanted to see him be able to answer questions, talk about it on the sideline, go out there and execute, make mistakes, and know what to do. Like when he looked the wrong way, getting right to the check down. He did a lot of those things a lot, but it took a hit last week, should have changed the protection. He's able to clearly communicate those things. I mean, we've seen enough last week of Michael Penix and the live stuff, and now we had the chance to mitigate him in practice. And we give him a bunch of live stuff out there in practice that you do everything that you would do in a game other than get hit. But, we feel really good where we're at with Michael. We feel really good where we're at with the other guys that we set, and we treated that the same way. But Mike showed us last week enough that we don't have to play him in the preseason.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
Oh, wow.
If you plan on Kirk Cousins, and this is what they've been saying the whole time, that he's going to be the starter all year.
I heard Kirk Cousins.
And ideally, you would hope that Michael Penix doesn't have to see the field. When's he supposed to get reps? Like, this is as good a time as any, maybe the only time that he's going to get reps all year if things go well. Like, why not have him out there? I don't understand it.
Like having played a whole entire game.
Like,
why not?
I don't know the nuance. He's got an injury history. I mean, let's all acknowledge that, right? He's got an extensive list. It was maybe one of the reasons why he fell to Atlanta at 8. I mean, I had said, watching his tape this past season, to me, he was the second best quarterback based on his tape. That's how good he was. You can go dive deeper into that, but like if Jaden Daniels was number 1 as a Heisman, based on tape, again, just based on watching the tape, this past season, it was Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix. And then probably after that, you're looking at Bo Nix. I mean, if we're being real. But there's obviously a lot of other things that factor into it. And his injury history with shoulder surgery, multiple knee surgeries, like all those things play a factor. So I think they're being smart if that's the rationale behind it, because he probably was a medical risk for some teams, or at least that was a concern. He looked great so far. I think the reports so far have been that he's looked as advertised. But you are probably going to miss not getting him reps, in real live game scenarios. But maybe you feel like if he is the future and you don't have plans necessarily on playing him unless you have to this year, then you're not as concerned about that. But it's surprising, nonetheless. You don't take him at 8 if your injury risks and concerns are that high. You don't take him at 8. Well, I think you're missing the point on that. Their concerns, obviously, aren't that high because they did take him at 8.
Then you play.
But I know there's some other. Well, they've got a starting quarterback in Kirk Cousins who
Right. Then you play him in the preseason. I'm addressing what's being talked. Listen, if I feel as though I got to play it smart with him and his injury history, and he's not going to play perceivably because we already have our high-paid starting quarterback, he's going to sit for at least 1 to 2 years if that's the case. And if that's the case, he's going to be almost halfway through his rookie contract. If I'm looking at him as being our franchise quarterback, that's going to sit for at least this year. But I'm so concerned about his injury history and the concerns about that we're not going to play him. I don't want him. I don't want him. I want to play. If I'm hiring you and I'm bringing you here, I want to see you play.
Yeah,
I'm playing him the whole. I'm playing him every game in the preseason.
How many games?
And every game, and I might play him the whole game. I might play him the whole entire game. I might play him until the fourth quarter of every single preseason game because I already have my star. Every single one except for maybe the last one. And I might change my mind and play him every single snap of that game, too.
Damn.
Why not? Get him some reps because you're going to put him on the shelf. He's going to sit. He's going to watch. If Kirk Cousins goes down, then he got some meaningful, at least they considered to be. I don't consider them that, but some people do. That's why they have a preseason. Now he's got a little bit of a body of work. He understands what it feels like to be in a game, and he played a game, and he played all of the preseason games before we got into the season. And then we got to week 6, week 7, Kirk Cousins goes down, and we put Michael Penix in, and he's had valuable playing time in the preseason. And I wasn't nervous about him getting hurt because he's a rookie. He's a rookie that we just drafted that isn't going to play because we got a high-paid starting quarterback already. Now we're putting him in because Kirk Cousins got hurt. Now, you're good. You're good. If I got to worry about all of this and that and that and this and this, and we've seen enough.
How much did Bijan Robinson play last year for Atlanta in the preseason? Did he play a lot?
I don't remember.
Know. He's a running back.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I know, which is like even more interesting. Like, would you have played him more or less because he's a running back? Because wasn't he coming off an injury too?
I'm going to play my – listen, if we're going to have a preseason, I'm playing my players. You don't want me to play my players, then take away preseason.
If it was a concern, why did he play last week? Why did they play Michael Penix last week? Why did they?
Boy, hold on. No one's advocating not playing him at all, right?
Sounds like
there's a fine line, but if they feel like they've seen enough what they need to see in them, then it's their decision, right?
Yeah, it's their decision.
It's their decision to draft him.
And I like Raheem. I like him. I like it the way he thinks. He's one of those player coaches. I mean, the guys love him. I'm not hating on that.
We also don't know if there's not more to the story. You know, maybe he's battling something that, you know, they don't want to diagnose or put him out there at risk. Who knows? Like that's the reality of it, is when it comes to like the health and injury status of players, like you really don't know when you're on the outside, and you don't know if that is playing a factor.
There's no reason to disclose it if he's not going to be playing anyway. So he's going to have adequate time to heal from it. If that's the case, there's probably something more to it. You could be right. And you're probably, to be honest with you, you're probably 100% right that they're managing his pitch count. Like they're managing him. They are.
There also are theories of, like, when you have, for example, we know Cousins is going to be there. We know Penix is going to be there. We don't know how many quarterbacks they're going to keep. So Tyler Heinicke, who is a very capable backup, he started some games even in Washington. He's on the roster this year. He's on the last year of a 2-year deal. Sometimes you want to play guys like that to increase their value. And so instead of cutting him, then you can at least flip him for a conditional 7-6, whatever.
That was going to be my other thought on that. Was this an audition to throw some potential trade possibilities out there?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's tough when a guy's on a 1-year deal because it's really you're leasing him. I mean, that's what it is. You're gonna rent him for a year, and he's going to be there as your insurance policy as a backup. But for any of those, I mean, quarterback situations, like you could look, for example, in Minnesota. Like that quarterback situation looks a lot different now. J.J. McCarthy's out for the season. It's Darnold and Jaron Hall who went in. He looked better than he did previously, but that might be a scenario where, you know, Heinicke ends up finding his way up to Minnesota, and they get him for his 6th, 7th conditional pick, whatever the terms are. But we all know those picks are packaged in the future to move up and get other picks or a part of another deal. So teams covet those things. That could be something that's behind all of this when it's all said and done.